newbies and gurus. So today we're gonna continue some of our simple implemented app in that. It's been a month or two now where I have not uploaded videos. Good. So I'm gonna try my best to upload video probably every week, and then I'm gonna look at building simple apps to enable you improve your Flutter development, so you can step ahead and get into the bigger project. So today we're gonna look at simple BNI app, and then we can look at how BNI actually is calculated, and then probably we use the height. You can use the height in inches, feet, and centimeters as well, and we'll look at the height here when you are underweight. It's going to tell you and all that. Good. So let's step into the app and let's see how it works. So we go to the BNI app here, and that is what we're going to create today. It's very simple. I'll recommend you always try to code along when you're watching the tutorial. Good. So what it's going to do is very simple app where you're going to have the height of a person, probably 5 feet, and then probably 78, the weight is 78. Then you just click on the what on the result, then it gives you what the BMI of the person. So this is tell you are underweight or overweight or normal. Good. Let's begin now. So now what we're going to do is to quickly set up the project, and then let's keep going. Alright, so I open my Visual Studio, and let me create the project so that we begin. So Command P, and then we begin to create the new project. So what name are we going to give to the project? We're going to give probably, let's call it Tech Now BMI. Let me select here. Okay, so tech underscore now underscore what BMI. Okay, BMI. Perfect. Let me add a TV here. Yeah, good. Then I click enter. Okay, so our project is actually gonna create here. Okay, so it's gonna take some few seconds for all the files to load in our Visual Studio. Good. So first, what we're gonna do is to create simple two folders, one folder and then two files. Okay, one will be our image. We're gonna keep an image for our background, and then we also create two other files that is gonna, have one with the calculation and one with the main file. Okay, so it's still loading. All right, but as it's loading, let's step into the lib folder. Lib folder here, I'm gonna create one folder. This folder will be our assets folder, but let me call it this image. Okay, so images. Okay, good. Images here. Then I have one file here that is the asset. Yeah, simply uncomment this. Yeah, this one. Yeah, this one, uncomment this. Yeah, make sure the spacing is really correct. Where you just use the tab button and then you move two space ahead, 1 2, simple. Then here to you move two space ahead. Okay, good. So I'm gonna drag and drop the image right in here. Yeah, one of my image on my desktop. Yeah, this one. Perfect. So I drag it into the image folder. Okay, perfect. So we have the image. This image is gonna be used for our background for the app, right? Okay, so I keep that in the image. Now let's step into the main. The main code, what we're gonna do is for you to actually follow along. I want to clean everything in here, yeah, so that we can start from scratch. Okay, so let me clean everything in here, so nothing in here. Okay, so that we can begin from scratch. Do you want to save? Yes, I did the changes in there, so I saved that. Okay, so here we're gonna start with our import our what. First is what? We import our package. Don't forget, first you have to import your package because we're gonna use the material that. Okay, so package. Then after package, make sure you add Flutter here, and then Flutter slash what material dot what that. Okay, so you can find it here, material dot that, simple. Then you end it here. Perfect. So now we're going to start with our main function. So we use the keyword void. Yeah, void here. And then for void here is gonna be simply the main. And then with our main, we're gonna have our run up in the main. Okay, good. So simple like this. Yeah, I'm starting from scratch so that you can actually understand the whole stuff. So let me call the run up, and then if you are very new to that, I recommend you to watch my that series where I explain the that coding structure and all that. Yeah, good. This is a simple app for newbies and also advanced developers to just go over. All right, so this is run up my app. Okay, good. So after the main here, we also gonna use my app here. So first, this is gonna be the first class we're gonna create, and then you see we're gonna refer to this my app here. It's gonna extend this one. Okay, you see, yes. So extend. Mm, let me use a shortcut to create this. Okay, to use a shortcut to create the stateless widget, you start with the stl, then you will see this here. Flutter stateless widget. Okay, so what I was about to do has already been written for me. Okay, so I only add my app to extend it from here. You get it? Yeah, very simple. So you use the stl to create the stateless widget. Okay, in order to type all, you need to use that shortcut. Good. So inside my widget, let me return, instead of returning a container, I'm going to return a material what? Material. I'm going to return a material what? Up here. Material up. Okay. Just like this. Good. Material up. Returning material up. And the title of our application, this is not going to display on the screen, just in the code. Okay. So we say Tech Now TV BMI app, simple. Yeah, this is just the title. Okay. Okay, then let's watch here. Now we're gonna, since let me add a theme. Yeah, theme. And then for our theme, let me see, we're gonna use the theme data. Okay, theme. Yeah, let's use the theme data. And for the theme data, we're gonna have a primary color. Okay, so let me clear this. I don't need this. Okay, so in the theme data, let me have the primary color. Let me use the primary swatch instead of the primary color. Yeah, swatch. Okay, good. And then here, let me call the color property. So colors dot. I normally like this this deep purple. Okay, so let me call the deep purple. Yeah, this is gonna be our primary colors for our app. Yeah, but I'm gonna override that with a background. So then visual density. Let me say probably visual density to adapt. Yeah, visual density dot adapt what? Adapt platform density. Good. So just gotta follow that. All right. Then here we're gonna create a different file here inside our lib. Let's add one file. That file, let me call it probably home. Yeah, no, let me call it this one. um, I call this home screen. Okay, let me call this home screen. Home screen. Home screen dot that. Okay, sorry, dot that. All right. So I have this one. So mm, home screen dot that. Do we necessary? Yeah. Never mind. It's okay. Home screen dot that is okay. Yeah. So we can call home and then home screen here, but I'm gonna have a class in there where we're gonna refer it back here. So let's say here we have after the theme we have home here, and this home is gonna call a class in the new folder where we're about to create. Yeah, the class will also be home screen. Yeah, home screen like this, and then you end this, but make sure no, it's gonna be a class, so make sure we call it well. Okay, home screen, correct. Okay, so I save this, and then class my app extends widget return material app. Okay, now let's step into our home.dat. Home.dat. In the home.dat, we're gonna actually create no, the home screen. We're gonna actually create a simple class in here, but this one is gonna be a stateful widget. Okay, so first let me import a material.dat. So import material, but you need to start with the packages. Okay, so packages the material.dat. Okay, so first packages, next is what, flutter dot what, material.dat. Okay, slash material dot what, that. Okay, so let's choose from here, and then that's perfect. Now let me start with a stateful widget. To start with a stateful widget, we can type stfl. Okay, stfl will give you a stateful widget here. Perfect. So for the stateful widget, we already call that class home screen. So let me refer that here. Wait, stfl. Okay, let's start all over again. Stateful widget. Then I have home screen. Okay, perfect. So home screen, inside a home screen, what are we gonna do? We're gonna have our scaffold here, and then the app bar. Yes, we're gonna have the scaffold, the app bar, and all that. Okay, so in here, let me return a scaffold instead to return a container. Okay, so here, here, let's return a scaffold. Okay, scaffold. Okay, so inside the scaffold, we're gonna have the app bar. Okay, app bar will be at the top of the app. So app bar, and then for the app bar, we press app here, app bar here, and then we have inside the app bar we're gonna have the title. Okay, so inside the app bar, what are we gonna have? First, the title. first. Let's have what? Title. Title, and this title will have a test. Okay, just simple test. Yes, test, and this test will have a data here, but this data will simply be our what? Our app, you know, app bar title. So we call it BMI app. BMI app, but it's a string, so I put it in a quote. Okay, yeah, just like this. Let me take off this. Okay. Inside the tests, title tests, title tests. Okay. For the test, let me add a tester. Okay. Let me format this a bit. So for the test, let me format this to, I use the style. Yeah, style, and then I have the tester. The tester. Okay. Tester, and for the tester we're gonna add a font weight. Okay, font weight here, and then we will have font weight. So font weight font weight dot weight should be probably, let's use 500. Yeah, weight should be 500. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool for now. Then but let me call this file here, this one. Yeah, this one. Okay, so let me use the import. Yeah, import home. Yeah, perfect. So I have imported that. Imported that. Okay, good. So import. Okay, let me run this. Let me see. This was that. This gonna come in. Okay. So we have this phone screen. Let me keep this or small letters. Okay, on the screen together. Perfect. Okay. Yeah. All right. So I run this so that we can differentiate here. So this is a class and this is a file. Okay. So this is the class and home screen, and then the file what? Home screen. Perfect. So let me run this before I add. Yeah, debug anyway. Okay, so this is what we have now. Let me first add the background for the app bar. Yeah, and then we'll add, yeah, we'll just add some elevation to it. So I step here. Let me see. Okay, so before I debug the app, let me add this as we go on. So I'm gonna add the background of the what? Of the app bar. Yeah, I wanna keep that, to color blue. Okay, so let me use the color property. So colors dot what? Dot blue. Okay, blue. Perfect. Then I add should we elevate this? No, let's set the elevation to maybe probably to 0 now. Later we check it and then increase the elevation. Then we center, let's center the title. Okay, center title. Okay, so center title, we should set it to true. Okay, perfect. So we have center title true AppBar. Perfect. So what we're gonna move on is to actually look at the background of the app that we are working on. Okay, so now we are done with what? With the app bar up here, and now we're gonna move to the main body itself. So with the main body, we need to start with the body keyword, body, and sorry. So body here. Then for the body, we're gonna have a container. Yeah, let's use the container for the image. Okay, container. Good. And for the container inside here, we're gonna have, let me spell this well. Okay, sorry. So we're gonna have one, the width of the what of the background. We also gonna have the height, the decoration, and all that. So let me start with the decoration of the background first. So the first decoration we're gonna use the box decoration. Okay, yeah, box decoration. Yeah, the box decoration. And for the box decoration, that is where we're gonna have our image in there, image in here. So we first call our image, then we call the image what? Decoration. Yeah, image decoration. Okay, so after the image decoration, we're gonna actually call the image here, that is the real asset. Okay, so this here will take the parameter of asset image, and then we call the image itself. So it will go like this, image 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 decoration. Then we'll have inside this image decoration, then we'll have this. Let me quickly do this. We have the image decoration, then we have image. For the image, it will take a parameter of no, it's gonna have this asset, asset image, and for the asset image, we're gonna pass in the link here. Okay, this is simply the image we have in our what, in our folder. Okay, so we pass it like this. The folder in which the image is, that is the images slash what. Let's check. In our images, we have this. Okay, we have this this image here. Good. And then this is what we're gonna refer to. So image background, and then the extension is actually JPG. Okay, JPG here, as you can see. So background.jpg, that's the images. Perfect. Then we, let me see this. Yeah, okay, images background. Okay, next is, let's actually let this image actually fits the whole cover of the what, of the scaffold. Okay, but I'm gonna add the height and width to it so that it will stretch across the widget for the scaffold, but we use the the fit box, the fit box fix. Yeah, this one will help us fix the background well, and then cover. Okay, so cover the back. Perfect. Okay, so we have the decoration box, this, and we have this one. Okay, let me save it. I think we are having some errors. Flutter, that's the background of JPG, and lip slash lips slash images in front like this. But if your image file is in the root, then you just leave it like this. All right, good. So now we have this in here. Correct. Now let's look here. I've added the width of what, double infinity, and then the height of what, double infinity, means it actually covers the whole screen. So any screen size that changes, then it actually, stretches to cover the whole what background. Yeah, that is it. And then I have uncommented the keys, and this will make the widget very identifiable and very unique in terms of building the widget tree. And then I added a constant here, so make sure you have that also in your code. All right, so the box decoration also, I've added a constant here. And then let's watch here, the home also we have the constant. Yeah, because it will be called once, that's why the constant is there. All right, so now let's continue. From the image side, we have the image here, which is showing here on the screen. Now we're gonna now create the input field here, one there, like I showed earlier on. Okay, so to start that, after after our closing tag for the box decoration, let's begin with a child here. Okay, so let's go. Child, we have child. Okay, so child, and then child here will be what, center. We want to center everything in the middle of the of the app, so we use the center widget here. Okay, so let me bring this down. So inside the center, we're gonna have let me take my center below. Another child, and this child will actually also be appended to single child row. Why single child row? Because we don't want the page to be scrolling. Yeah, it should be only one page for our app. Okay, so we call that the single child scroll view. We have a child of column here, and this column will actually have our row, and then a size box, and this size box will actually help us to leave space in between our application. So with the column, inside the column, let's add inside the column, let me add this one and push this down. This is also will wrap around all the application here, so I push it down. So inside our column, we'll be having this is gonna be just a space to push our application down. That is why we are doing this. And this is the children of the column, and then these children will actually simply have a space here. So let me do that very quickly. So we have size box. I said this is just for what? This is just for what? Creating a space in between my application. So we call it the size box. Size box. Perfect. Okay. So for size box, we only have to add either height or width. But since we are only looking at the height, pushing it down, we're gonna use only what? Only height in here. So I'll do height at least 20. Yeah, 20 is okay. Okay. Let me use a comma. Yeah, 20 is okay. Then after the height, what are we going to do? That is when we are going to add the what? The input field. But for us to actually define the input field, we need to define that in a row. So I add a row here. Okay. So for the row, let me see. Row. For the row, since we want here, main axis alignment. Main axis alignment. And this is actually also going to be main axis alignment. Then we're going to do it evenly, spread it evenly. But make sure this starts with a capital letter. Okay. So main axis alignment, then we spread it what? Evenly. So dot space what? Evenly. Then I use a comma. Good. So after this alignment that is gonna help us, place it on the main axis, we now have to add a child here, and this child will have the text field. Okay, so no, instead of child, let's use children. Okay, children. Yeah, and for the children, inside the first one, we're gonna have a container. Yeah, we're gonna have a container, and so let me say we have a container inside the children. So container, and then this container will actually have container and then text input. I'm being careful not to leave out any of the closing tags. The width here, and that will be 30. No, at least the width should be at least 130. 130, yeah, wide. That's good. Then we're gonna have a child here. After the space, let's have a child here. Okay, good. So inside the tester, that's where we're gonna define the property for the test itself. So first, let's add font. No, this is font size. We use font size, and then we say the font size should be 42, right? Comma. Then we go to font weight. Okay, how thick it's gonna. It will be probably we're gonna use font weight maybe 300 or 400. The second one, make sure it's start with a capital F dots. The weight. Okay, so I close this. Perfect. So this is gonna be the test style for our test. But let's watch here. We're gonna have the input field here, and we only want to accept what numbers in this input field. So when we call the keyboard, so we call keyboard type. Okay, so keyboard type, we only want to show the numbers keyboard instead of the general one. So we use the keyboard type, and then we type this test input type. Okay, test what input type, just like this. Okay, perfect. Then after the test input type, we're gonna have our what, our decorator, and this will be the decorator of the test input type we have here. So let's use the decorator. Now there's the decoration here, and here this decoration will have what we call the input what decoration. Okay, so input decoration. Okay, so for the input decoration, we're gonna have the first one. Let's look at the border. We want it to be borderless. Okay, so let me add border, and this border will actually be borderless. So to do this borderless, you need to call the input border. Okay, input border, and the border will be dot what, input border dot none. That means no border for the input. Okay, then we're gonna have a hint. This hint will actually be the text that displayed to the user. Since our border is none, we need to actually display something for the user to know what is required of him or her to input there. So here will be what, height for them to see. So let's use the font size here. So font size, and this font size, let's keep it at 42, or you can experiment with other numbers as well. Then we have color. We're gonna keep this basic color, so probably we should use white. Okay, so uh, so colors dot white. Okay, colors dot white. Okay, double H, colors dot white. And this, we want to actually add some opacity. Let's say 0.8 for this. Okay, so this is the decoration for us. Yeah, how we want the input what, input. Duplicate this for the second one. Okay, because we're gonna have, but before we add that, I think we should add a space in between this. Okay, for just the adjustment. Okay, so we're gonna have the space in between this. So let me see one, let me see this one. So I think, wait, let's put space in here. Or no, we should just leave the space. Let's put a space here, so that, okay, this field, okay, container, okay, and the row. Okay, good. So now let me add, let me duplicate this one first. This, okay, so the same thing, including the container. Okay, okay, then I paste it here. Okay, so we have another one here, the same container. One, two, Okay, and fourth one, correct. Okay, so here we only change what? The H to W, then we get what? The width. The same stuff, and then we get the width. So height will be here, and then the width will be here. Okay, so next what we will do here is to add what? Simply add, let me save this first, and then after the column I'm gonna add the space there. No, let me add this column here so that okay. So here let me add the space here, sized. We have the size here, then we have the box here, size box. Then here we'll have the height, and then we're gonna have the height to be 30, just in between, before the other code. Okay, perfect. Now, since we have the two input field here that is residing in the row, and then we have this in the center, okay, and then we have this. Okay, we have another size to here that differentiates from this, and then we have this second input field. Then after that we have the size here. Okay, perfect. So now what we're going to look is look at a tap event to actually help us do the calculation for what BMI application. So we want to use the gesture on tap. So let's do that. The gesture on type to actually determine and then help us do the calculation when a user taps on that. Okay, so gesture detector. Okay, then we have this one, gesture detector, and this is gonna be the function. Good, and we call the function here. Okay, so inside the on tab, we're gonna do some BMI calculations here. BMI calculations. So before that, let me go up there. I go up there, then I try to declare some variables up there before we start. Okay, so here in let's look at this side. After our what state in here, override here. Okay, we're gonna declare first. We're gonna declare the text editing controller, and then some variables will be needing beneath. So first, let's start with our text controller, and this is actually gonna help us manipulate our on tap input field, and then it's gonna help us do the calculation. So I do what? Text editing controller. Test what? Editing controller all together. Okay. Test editing controller. Then we go. The next one, we're gonna have the height controller. That is just gonna be a variable. Yeah, so we are going to just assign that to it, and then so I'm gonna call that text editing controller. Let me call this editing. Okay, so we go and variables that we'll use down there. One will be double, and this double will actually take a private, let's say, variable BMI result. Okay, BMI result. Okay, then this result will be assigned to 0, and then return it. Then we're gonna have another double here, and this double will be assigned to gesture what? Gesture tab area. So let's go there, down there, here. Good. We actually ended here. So inside here, that is where our what? Our BMI calculations will take place. Okay. So first, let's call the double in here. Yes, the double we just defined there, the weight controller. But we're gonna assign one of our controllers to our internal what variable. Just keep it simple. This is gonna be height, and we're gonna have double dot pause. We're gonna tell us our input, and then we will use the variable name we declared, and then this controller will be dot what test, because we're gonna receive an input test in our what in the height area. Okay, so I terminate this, then I go to the next one. It's just the same thing, right? But this time around will not be the height. Okay, then we use the W here. Okay, then we need to also define our set state, since we're gonna perform the calculation here. So anytime there's a change of state, it needs to reinitialize the state and then perform our calculation for us. So set state. So we said set states. Okay, like this, and then we call the state function here, and inside BMI calculation in here, we have the variable we actually declared up there. So we have the BMI, we have the result, and then the result is equal to our what? Underscore W divided by or over that is the BMI formula. Then we have the variable H, and then the variable times the variable what? W. Then if underscore result, this result, okay, if underscore result is greater than 25, then what are we gonna do? We're gonna do something here. We'll print a simple what? A simple statement here. Good. So if this is greater than 25, then let's print this test result. Test result is equal to string, and this string will display yeah, we need to okay, don't forget we have to actually escape. No need to use this. Let's just do this. You are overweight. Okay, perfect. So we have this, you are overweight for the first condition. Okay, then let's look at the next condition. If the next condition here, else if to check the next condition. So if else if underscore BMI result should be greater or equal to according to the BMI calculation. It should be equal to this 8.5, and the result should also be less than what? Should be less than or equal to 25 as well. Yeah, so that is the BMI calculation. Good. Perfect. Then we're gonna have the string in here. So this is for the else. So if this does not fall between this logic, then we have to print something else. So this here you have normal weight. Perfect. Okay, then after this we're gonna have our last default print out. Yeah, if all those conditions are not met, then we have to print another one, that is you are under what? Weight. Perfect. You are under weight. Okay, good. So now let me end this statement well. Okay. All right. So next is we're gonna have a simple what test, and this test will help us simply calculate our BMI after we've input all the text inside or the numbers inside this two input field, and then it's gonna calculate our input numbers for us. So first, okay, so I quickly add child here after this one. So child for this will be result. Yeah, so inside our child container, then we will have the test here. We need to start with the child, and then we have our test here. Okay, test, and the test will be what? Printed out to be result. No, we tap here. I need to help you print the result. Okay, so we say test. Okay. Then this test star, we're gonna have the font in here. That will be the font size. Okay, font size. Then for the font size, we're gonna have this should be 22, and then we have the font weight as well. Then this one will have font weight, and font weight dot what bold. Okay, so this is gonna be bold. So we are basically done with the input field, and then we're gonna actually leave another space in here. Then we will add the BMI display result, and that will actually print after you click on this. Yeah, but we have the result. Then we'll give a space here, and this space will actually help us to display the results right in this space here again, like this. Add the result, and then we're gonna convert the result to string, and this string we're gonna have only 2 decimal place. Okay, so we'll have another container, and this container will actually print only the result and then format the result for us. String, okay, to string, and this string will be what? Dot to string, and it will be fixed, and this fix it will be what? 2 decimal place, and then we're gonna have our star for it to be good. So star, and then let us star. Then with our test star, we're only gonna increase font, so that we leave another space in between this one. Okay, another space in between this. So I copy this, and then I paste here. After this space, we're gonna have our what? Our visibility. Yeah, and let me leave a space of 40 here. Then we're gonna have our visibility, how it's gonna actually display here. So we call the visibility here. Okay, then for the visibility, we're gonna, it's not empty. Okay, okay, then we have the child. So if it's not empty, oh, if it's not empty, then this child container. Okay, another child tests. Child test, and this child test will actually return our test results. And then let me add a star to this. Star, test star. Okay, test star. Test style. Then we're gonna have this test style. We're only gonna have only font in here, just the font size. Then we have the font weight as well. So font size, let's say 32, and we're gonna have the font weight to be font weight. Okay, dot w. Okay, so this is the width. Yeah, this. Now let's keep this 400. Yeah, 400 is cool. Okay, perfect. So now we have our visibility for the whole what? For the whole project. Sorry, I plug in. Then we have our space here. visibility with okay, so we have this one here, container tests. Okay, perfect. Good. Unable to open images. File is a directory. Okay, let me check here. Okay, we'll debug the code so that we can actually so we have one error here. One error. We have the height controller. Private field could be final. Okay, sure. Let's make this final. Let's make this one also final. Okay. Let's try to debug the code. Okay, so we have final here. Okay, what's wrong? Oh, yeah. It should be a semicolon. Yeah, string. This one is a space string. Double. Oh, here instead to use double, let me change this to string. Okay, string. Okay, string. This should work fine. This should work. Yeah, that's good. String, and then we have size box. What is wrong with size box? Great. Method for size box. No. Size box. Okay, so container after children container row, this row font size and tests input type. Size box. Why we have this here? All the errors before it's gonna run. Okay, so this size box is having a column and a child, so we have a child here, and this child is actually center, and then single child scroll the view, child column, then we have children. Okay. The children will have a size the box. Oh, here should start with capital S. Yes, instead of small s or capital S. Okay. Then good. So we rectify that one. Row we have max alignment row container child. So let me watch here, children, and then we have this container and then we check. Let's check the test field. Okay, test field is correct. Style, test style. Okay, test input type. Test input type. Test input type. Okay. I think here we need to, the test input type should be, let me see, should be dot number, font size, font size, 42 color box. This color color is width. Oh, the width here. The width here. With opacity. Double opacity. Okay. Now we look at the 1, 2. Oh yeah, comma here. Size box, sized box. Okay. And we have height 30. Then we have gesture detector. Oh, I spelled this wrongly. Gesture detector. Okay, we got it. Gesture detector. Then we come on top. Okay. Tests. Results. Container. Font. Road container. Font. Okay. Font, and then we have the test style. We have test here. Okay, this test style container. Test results. Let's look here. Well, okay, so we have the test results. Here, so no test results. Then is what? Is empty, no space. It's empty here. Okay. Then we have a container child. Okay, so we're still in the debugging state. Debugging your code is one of the important things you need to learn when coding. Yeah, I'm trying to trying to be very real in terms of coding in real life. So you need to also know how to debug your code and also how to check your tags and all that. So really important. Yeah. Anytime you code in and you have an error, you take your time, you step through, then you go through it one by one. You check the code bit by bit, and then you correct all the mistakes. Yeah. So this font size, let me look at a quick fix. Isn't defined. No, that is not necessary. Color. Debug anyway. Yeah, I want to see the rest of the errors. Okay, it's still running. So let's see. We have two errors here. We're gonna fix that if it doesn't run. Yeah, that is. Sometimes I need to ignore these ones, but these ones I need to relook at it. It's still debugging, so still debugging. Wait for quite a minute to see. Font size. Okay. Let's do this. This one. We repeat the same thing here. Let me add the font weight to it so that it will appear boldly. Let's see the final work. Let's put the whole of this one inside the star. Yeah, here, copy over here. I cut it and then I paste it. I add the star. Okay, perfect. Then I say, yeah, in real life, anytime you write code, you need to go through and try to debug the code and fix the errors, and then you rerun again until it actually works. My computer is actually slow. Running a lot of tasks. Oh, I forgot to remove this here, but let's rerun this again. And actually see what is happening here. I want to kill the text for this application. I'm gonna leave this code below the YouTube your code reference, and so that you can easily look through. Sorry, my computer is, and then we also have our title in the BMI, and then we have the star here, the star for this, and then we have the elevation here, makes it a bit puffy, it looks more like a button, and then we set it to center is equal to 2, it means it will be in the middle of the AppBar. Then we have the body. With the body, we wrap everything in a container, and with the container we have the first word background showing at the top, and this is actually the width and the height. We want it to be infinity so that the image screen size, it will stretch and then cover every portion of the screen. That is, we are playing with the media query of the screen. And then we have the decoration constant, the box decoration, and this is simply what how the image should show. So we use this to actually call the image. So we call the decoration image here, and then the asset image, and then this image is actually in our what, one page with no too much scrolling or no scrolling at all. Then we have the column. This column have what, this column is gonna have the 2 input field. So before the column we leave a space called the number keyboard, and then how well we're gonna see the text or the hint for the user. So we have the font size 42, the font width, and then that is actually width 500. Then we have the hint text, and this hint text is actually what it will tell the user what to type in here, since we have an input field which is only numbers. So here this text also has been styled here with the font 42, font width, how thick it's gonna be, this here. Then we give it an opacity, it's a color white, and opacity means it will be a bit faint, right? Then so we repeat the same input text field here, width, so almost the same thing. And then the size box gives a little bit of space here. Then we go to our result. Result is where we tap and then it performs the magic for the calculation, and that we use the gesture detector. So this is just a text field which can actually detect when it's on press. So we use the gesture detector, and then we have the what, on tap. So anytime you tap on it, it performs this calculation. So as you can see, we declare this at the top, the height controller and the width controller. So it will control our test, that is the test, and then it should now store in these 2 variables, height and then width. Then we use it for the calculation. So to perform the calculation, we put the calculation in set state, and set state, we're gonna have our BMI result here, and the result will be width over height times what, here should be height for the width. For the BMI calculation, we should have this one being height times height, yeah, instead of, so that you'll get a correct answer. So here formula for BMI is the weight over my result is greater than 25, then we say you are overweight. if it's more than 25, you overweight. And we have styled it here, styled font size. We need to convert it to string, and then it should give us in 2 decimal places. And then the font, we have increased the font to be a bit bigger, 90, and then we leave another space. So this is actually going to be the visibility of what? Of down here. That is the one here. Yeah. So in order to actually quickly go through this, you can download the source code, then you can immediately what? Have more time for the source code so that you go through step by step. You can, after you finish this, you can actually try to also build your own interface and then try to use this formula in your code. Yeah, I'm running a lot of tasks on my PC today, so it's a bit of slowing the whole video. But as I showed you earlier on, I showed you the look of the app and all that. Yeah, since I've been able to step you through all the errors, and then we try to debug all the errors together. That will give you a firm knowledge and firm understanding of how the application have run. Actually, I did a hot restart instead of a hot reload, so everything has now load on the screen, and then we are about to test. So let's say for the height, let's say the person is 5 feet tall, 5 feet tall, and then the weight probably 78. Okay, then you press on the result, you should see something like this. You are underweight, or you are, depending on what you type in here, it will give a different what, different output. So let me say probably this is 68. Okay, so then we have 4.2. You are underweight. Good. So this is the end of the tutorial, and if you have any question, you can actually leave below the comment, and I'm gonna get back to you. If you also have any kind of problem with your code running in terms of getting the source code and running, you can always leave a comment below, and I'm going to get back to you. I'll leave the exact code in my repository, and you can download below. Okay, peace. I'm out.